today's video, we are about to talk the English for Specific Purposes or ESP and the role of discourse and genre analysis. But before that, we are about to define what is ESP and how and when it was created. In the year 1960s, English for Specific Purposes was born. It considered as an area of technical text analysis. At the end of the decade, the development of materials became a trend and the use of language form was strengthened. In the year 1970s to 1980s, they strengthened also the language skills and booming research. They've shown the importance of English for specific purposes when research has boomed in the last 20 years ago. And according to Ramirez 2015, the evolution of English for specific purposes developed hand by hand. So that was some of the history of ESP. Now, let's proceed with the overview of role of discourse and genre analysis. So, genre-based analysis of various types of text has sparked a lot of attention in the previous 10 years. This method is based on conversation and text analysis and has been widely used in the field of English for specific purposes. However, discourse and text analysis can provide immediate and direct help in needs analysis, syllabus design, and creating materials for ESP courses. According to Dudley Evans of 1986, text analysis is focused with top-down analysis, which attempts to determine general properties of all text rather than analyzing specific text kinds or genres. He also claims that its principal aim is pedagogical as it provides a flexible prescription based on analysis that makes suggestions about the layout, ordering, and language appropriate to particular writing or speaking task. John Swallows in 1981 created a sort of bridge between the basic postulates of discourse and text analysis. Highland of 1992 stated that genre analysis is directly relevant to the classroom by emphasizing the crucial importance of rhetorical text structure. So that talked about the simple overview about the role of discourse and genre analysis.
Before I discuss the role of discourse analysis in ESP, let me introduce to you what discourse analysis is. Discourse analysis is the examination of language used by members of a speech community. It involves looking at both language form and language function. That includes the study of both spoken interaction and written text. It identifies linguistic features that characterize different genres, as well as social and cultural factors that aid in our interpretation and understanding of different texts and types of talk. A discourse analysis of written text might include a study of topic development and cohesion across the sentences, while an analysis of spoken language might focus on these aspects plus turn-taking practices, opening and closing sequences of social encounters, or narrative structure. Discourse analysis takes different theoretical perspective and analytic approaches such as speech act theory, interactional social linguistics, ethnography of communication, pragmatics, conversation analysis, and variation analysis. This discourse analysis digest focus on the application to ESP teaching and learning. It provides examples of how teachers or instructors can improve their teaching practices by investigating actual language used both in and out of the classroom, and how students can learn language through exposure to different types of discourse. To sum it up, ESP teachers can use discourse analysis not only as a research method for investigating in their own teaching practices, but also as a tool for studying interactions among language learners. Learners also can benefit from using discourse analysis to explore what language is and how it is used to achieve communicative goals in different contexts. Thus, discourse analysis can help us to create a language learning environment that more accurately reflects how language is used and encourages a learner toward their goal of proficiency. Additionally, according to Woods 2006, through the study of discourse analysis, students may gain an advanced and sophisticated understanding of the concept of context. Also defined or described as the study of language in context, discourse analysis draws students to the investigation of socially situated texts and talks. As students gain knowledge and understanding of symbolic function of language in social life and the role that language plays in a construction and shaping of social relationship. Students have the opportunity to explore how power relations underpin the construction and meaning of discourse, to learn about the ways in which controls, both asserted and resisted in discourse.
There is no clear-cut method to conducting discourse analysis, as there are several approaches to it. However, there are basic steps that can help you in conducting a systematic discourse analysis. The first one is define the research question. The first step is to develop your research questions and determine the range of suitable materials for answering these questions. The next one is establish the context. Gather the materials you need for the research and note the source and how the information fits into your study. You should get details about the material's author, when and where it was published, and to whom the message was disseminated. Prepare the materials you gathered for analysis. Prepare your materials in a way that makes it easy for you to analyze them. If you are working with a hard copy, we advise that you make copies of your source materials and also get a digital copy. Additionally, you can mark the important features of the materials by adding lines, figures, or any other features that can help you keep your bearing. The next one is code your materials. This step involves assigning attributes to words, sentences, or paragraphs that are important in the materials. Analyze the structural features of the texts. Examine the text to identify how the main argument is structured and if there is any counterfactual case. In addition, you should also dissect the materials to understand the roles of introduction, conclusion, headers, and page layout play in the overall scheme of things. The next one is examine individual statements. Once you have a good understanding of the macro features of the text, you can proceed by examining the discourse fragments. You can do this by assigning codes to all different statements in the text and analyzing them to understand their underlying meaning. Identify cultural references. After establishing the context of your source material, the next step is to understand the cultural context of your materials. This involves finding out if there are references to other sources in your materials and the relationship between all these sources. The next one is identify linguistic and rhetorical mechanisms. This step involves identifying how each discourse fragments function at the level of language. You can do this by checking who or what the subjects and objects in the various discourse fragments are. Furthermore, you should look for rhetorical and literary figures, modals, direct and indirect speech, and facts in each statement. Data interpretation. Now that you have a good idea of what individual statements mean and the overall context of the material, it is time to tie everything together to understand the underlying meaning of discourse in the material and find answers to your research questions. The last step is present your findings. The last step is to present your results to your target audience by adding evidences from your research as needed. Stages of discourse analysis. Discourse analysis helps researchers uncover the motivation behind the text by allowing them to view a problem from a higher stance. It is useful for studying the underlying meaning of a spoken or written text as it considers the social and historical context. It also helps to understand the function of language and how discourse can be used to foster positive social change. So the disadvantages of discourse analysis. Of course, there are different approaches to discourse analysis. So choosing the most suitable method for a setting can be challenging. Also, it can be highly time consuming. And some have argued that it is nothing more than a deconstructive reading of a text to understand its underlying meaning, and it does not provide answers to questions based on scientific research.
Talk about genre analysis. Genre analysis is a new approach to discourse and text analysis in ESP. Its research findings have established common rhetorical patterns in academic writing. Therefore, genre analysis has an important role in developing both writing and reading skills. Genre analysis has received much attention in the last decades. For both academic and pedagogical purposes, different genres have been analyzed in terms of their rhetorical features. In English for specific purposes or ESP, tradition, genre analysis focus on communicative function, describes in terms of moves and steps and linguistics properties of this function. Moreover, genre analysis is helpful in teaching students how to write resumes, cover letters, and other job-related and internship-related documents. Genre analysis is helpful in teaching students to construct online portfolios to display their work to prospective employers. Finally, genre analysis can be important in teaching students how to communicate in presentations or in interviews. Genre analysis is a way of examining a type or style of writing in order to better understand the conventions, expectation, purpose, and target audience for that genre. Genre analysis in this English for specific purposes or ESP tradition focuses on communication functions articulated in terms of moves, steps, as well as their grammatical features. Researchers often employed models and taxonomies for structural and linguistic components of such analysis.
Stages of Designing a Genre-Based Path by Burns and Joyce, 1997. Number 1. Identify the general context of the language used. Number 2. Develop dreams or ambitions. Number 3. Note the series of language occasions within the precise context. Number 4. List the genres springing up from the series. Number 5. Outline the sociocultural expertise of college students who wants to precise communicate context. Number 6 is record or collect samples of the genres of the path which will condense on. Number 7, develop devices of flavor associated with those genres and expand the mastering goals to be done. An instance from a schoolroom, the ambitions of the program had been to expand from the college students' competencies to example and draw on facts from a number of sets applicable to the collection of facts for instructional purposes. To write down instructional text which includes documented essays, summaries of readings, studies reviews, animated bibliographies, and case have a look of reviews which meets the needs and expectancies of an English medium instructional mastering environment. To discover ways to use textual content sorts which includes descriptions, examine and contrast problem solutions, discussions and reasons and impact of their instructional writings. To generalize, effective ESP programs require relevant materials, knowledgeable instructors, and teamwork with subject matter professionals. Discourse analysis involves looking at both language form and language function and includes the study of both spoken interaction and written text. It identifies linguistic features that characterize different genres as well as social and cultural factors that aid in our interpretation and understanding of different contexts. Moreover, the genre analysis is one of the types of discourse analysis. It is employed to analyze the genre of the text, both oral text and written text. To analyze the genre, it focuses on the idea of text in genre theories, which will be similar or different and depends on the classification between the genres. Genre analysis involves looking at model text to gain an understanding of how a particular document might be composed.